Do do do. There's that, and there's that. Oh, and I forgot to turn off the echo. And there's that. Welcome to Pieces That Pat Paints. I'm Pat. This is Kristen.
Hi.
It's Valentine's Day, so she came to say hello. So she is with us today instead of watching. She is here live, which is exciting. And she does a bunch of coloring and stuff like that, and occasionally she'll paint miniatures. But I don't think she's going to paint today. I think she's going to sit over there and color and probably ask questions, or I don't know. So we're just going to hang out and see what happens. Let's see if anybody comes over. So we are pretty close to having our our three little Tyranids done here. You know, they're looking great. The Leapers. We've got to get their purple done and finish out all their claws and then do any last minute deals. What I think I might do, though, is I might just finish one of them, base him out, and then do these other guys off camera just as kind of just to get this part of this project over with. Because it kind of gets repetitive when it's the exact same creature over and over and over again. And we learned that in this filming. So filming these guys has been helpful. I definitely learned something about that. This gets boring to watch. Boring. So we're going to finish one guy up, and then we're going to soldier on to the next little guy, which right now it looks like it's going to be Kharn the Betrayer. This guy right here is currently winning our vote. Did you vote?
I didn't yet.
You didn't vote? Look at that. Shameful display.
I know.
So, so this is Kharn Betrayer. He is a World Eater, which is a Chaos Space Marine. There's lots to talk about with Space Marines. They have more lore than everybody else. There's not really a whole lot to be said about Tyranids. They're space bugs that eat everything. But Kharn has like his own story and books. He's got books about himself, so he's pretty cool. We also have the UNT, which are great. These guys look pretty cool. They're a snickety snake guys. He's got a lot of fun details, some armor, great swords. This is a great craft. This is a print from Artist Guild. Great company. They make awesome stuff. All their stuff's kind of modular too, so you can change their weapons if you don't like those weapons, things like that.
We're gonna be fighting some of them bad boys real soon.
No.
No?
No. You're thinking of these guys. Sahagin.
Yeah.
Fish
Those
dude.
guys.
This is our fishy boy. He is a 4-armed fishy boy. He's a baron for the Sahagin. And these guys are pretty rough and tumble.
They all look so cool.
Yeah, they all look really cool. Lots of details on this one. Very interesting piece. I already have the paint scheme for him as well as Kharn, because Kharn has a paint scheme. But we'd have to figure out what we wanted to do with the UNT. And then we have Illuminor Zaris, which is by far the largest of the group here.
But so spindly.
It is very spindly. He's partially started. We got some of the base coat parts on him, which is fine. And there's lots of stuff to do to get him up to snuff, ready for my youngest son's army. That's something in my eyeball. There we go. So voting still open. It'll be open until I think I said 10 o'clock tonight. Before we're going to close the voting on that. Get in and vote on what you want to see us do for the rest of the week, and that's what we're gonna do. So next, let's get on our guy here. I really like this one. He has this fun little piece for his little terrain thing. It's like a girder sticking out of the ground there, which is pretty cool, and I like that. So I feel like we could get this guy ready to rock and roll pretty quick. All his stuff's kind of open too, so it's a little easier to kind of get to. And we can get on the insides of these. Anywho, so the first thing we're gonna do is get working on his purple. which is probably the main reason Kristen's here. She likes purple. So she showed up to watch all the purple get painted on. Not really. She's off on Wednesdays, and it's Valentine's Day.
Both of those things are true.
Not that we actually, we're not actually big fans of Valentine's Day, though, are we? We don't normally, we were restaurant people for so long.
It's just a money day.
That it was, yeah, it was like we never really had, like, when you're in restaurants, like, you don't really have a Valentine's Day. It's just not a, your Valentine's Day is definitely a work day. So it gets a
One
little...
of your workiest work days of the year.
One of the workiest work days of the year, for sure.
It's weird to just not be at work on a Valentine's Day. That's weird.
Yes. That is definitely like part of the craziest of not working in the restaurant industry, is the holidays where you get Mother's Day and Valentine's Day and whatnot off. But like Mother's Day was different when we were teaching college. You would be able to, you were off on Mother's Day because we were off on those. But that wasn't our entire careers. We just both happened to teach at one point in time.
Right.
So we're using this Dioxazine purple, which is a very, very dark, very satiny purple.
It's quickly becoming my favorite purple.
Yeah, it's a great one. It's really dark.
I have it in my colored pencils and I use it a lot.
Yeah, it's a fantastic base if you're trying to bring something up from a dark, but I don't particularly like using black. Unless I have to. To me, black is, there's certain things that should be black. The base should be black. I suppose if you're playing Black Templars, it should be black. But for like natural stuff, black just isn't the way to go. There's always a better color you can use that's going to fade in and out more better in a cleaner way.
That's one of my favorite things that you've taught me is that even black isn't really black most of the time.
Yes, when it comes down to dyes, black in and of itself, in all honesty, it's got to have some base color somewhere because black doesn't actually exist in reality outside of space. There's no black because black is supposedly the absence of light. So any black we make, unless it's like, or even plastics, those blacks, their black is made out of a really dark something else or combinations of really dark something else's. And it's not, black is a light thing. When you start, in the terms of art, black is a light issue. And if you really truly think about light and the absence of light, then you start saying, well, there isn't anything that has an absence of light. Now, plastic can look pretty dang black. Mm-hmm. Foam can look pretty dang black. Shirt can look pretty dang black. But that shirt's actually blue. Really dark blue or purple. You can tell when you get the right light on it. Or you shine a flashlight through them. Sometimes you can see the colors that they really are underneath. But black is an interesting thing. Plastics are the closest thing where you can get to like true blacks. So like when you deal with paints, you can get a really dark black paint because you're dealing with acrylics, which is a type of plastic. But I learned how to paint without using black primarily for shading. I've always used umber for my shadings, raw umber. And very rarely used black. But see, like even charcoal isn't black. Charcoal is gray.
Right.
And when you break down that gray, it becomes a brown gray. And like even grays have different base colors where they're coming from. Like Payne's gray is blue.
Yeah, I've learned a lot about different grays and how to use those.
Yeah, because different grades are going to affect like the end product, what it's going to look like on the very top. Like say you're trying to make something white. Well, true white is it's not something you see in reality. It's not a real thing. Like if you're trying
white is like black. It's not really real.
Yeah, so when you're trying to create something that looks real, not cartoonish, then you want it to have that reality. You can make a plastic that is dang near pure white. But in reality, like a white petal on a flower isn't all white. When you really start looking down at it, there's a green in there.
Or maybe a little bit of blue.
Or yellow.
A little bit of yellow.
Mm-hmm.
There's a hue to it.
There's a hue to it, yeah. It's not pure white. And I'll die on this hill.
Well, your advice led me to be able to color snow in a way that I was happy with when I was done.
See, that's a great example because like snow looks white.
Yeah, but there's no white. I didn't actually use white for the snow.
Because it's not actually white. It's the reflection of light. What snow is it's white reflecting itself. So that's why they always try to make things that are fake snow, that pearlescent or the, the opaly kind of.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it looks more like snow because it's doing the reflecting thing that snow is supposed to do. Camera may actually need to come up just a touch. Yeah, that's much better. So, snow is a perfect example. And snow can change depending on what's going on around it. Like if you have a green light shining across the snow is going to be green because it's reflecting light.
Right.
Snow in and of itself, in all honesty, is actually clear.
Which makes it really interesting to color.
Right. Oh, look who's here. Hello, Miss Kitters. Are you going to meow on the microphone for us? No.
Not right now.
Nope. I'm just here to torment Kristen.
Get some kitty hairs on my black shirt.
So Octavia definitely is Kristen's kitty cat. As much as I love that cat, it definitely belongs to Kristen. It was going to be my cat. I was trying to summon a cat for myself, but...
But then he left me with it to, bottle raise it for a week.
Well, I was cooking.
Yeah, but the damage was done.
I couldn't help it. It couldn't be helped. Plus, somebody had to take this kitty, and I knew that kitty needed to come live with us.
That was her mommy. It was only a week before we got her on solid food, and I got her litter box trained and all that, but for that week, I was round the clock feedings and litter training, and now I'm the mommy.
Yeah, that is true. Definitely a cat that acts like its mommy. Y'all two are very prissy. In the best possible way. It's because they're pretty and they know it. That's what happens when you're pretty and you know it. Well, we got one viewer.
It's not me.
It's not you. So, that's good.
Hey, that was a wild sound I just made.
Oh, yeah, you hit the spring.
Yeah.
It's like a guitar. Ring. So much fun. Sometimes buttons will hit it. He's over there messing around occasionally. That cat makes so many weird sounds.
Yes, he does. Actually, it's really quiet right now.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, where is that cat?
Wait.
Where is that cat? Because that cat's nuts. He's probably doing something he shouldn't be doing somewhere.
Or he's resting up to do something he shouldn't more later. He's been on a tear today already, so he might be resting up.
Today, the week, finally, folks, I finally did get my plants all set up to where the cat would stop breaking them. So we now have all plants intact. I think we may have lost my poor basil plant, but anyway, the cat and the plants are finally getting back to normal after all of our office moving, which was good. It was good for the plants, but man, you move stuff around, and that cat, he wants to be involved in everything.
Well, in every shelf we cleared to rearrange, he was like, "You cleared this for me to sit on? This is mine now?"
No. No, it is not. It is not yours. He's such a goob. He's a fun cat, though.
Yes.
I really think moving the fridge helped. Even sounds quieter when it's not on the mic. But you can still see it's picking it up.
Yeah.
It's just a lot lower. Oh, you know what? We forgot to turn on the music. We started laughing and just got carried away.
Right.
Okay. That's what we should do. Turn on some music. That might be it too loud. Or not. You never can tell from all the way over there whether it's going to be too loud or not. Yeah, that'll work. So, you know. Now we got that first coat on those. We're going to let that dry. I'm going to go ahead and do another coat of Payne's Gray. That is a little too loud.
Took a minute to get going.
Yeah, they do that. They're like, oh my gosh, I got loud really quick. Oh, we did finally figure out what was going on with Cox and the cable situation for our new internet. And somehow we kind of just slipped through their fingers, and so they're going to fix it tomorrow. So big shout out to the guy at Cox who got that all resolved pretty quickly for us this morning. You were awesome. Thank you, sir. Probably have no idea. You probably don't watch the show, anything like that, and that's fine. But I'm definitely going to give you the shout out. Because he was totally like, oh, we dropped the ball on this. I always like that. You know, when a company is willing to say, oh, snap, I don't know what happened there, but, you know, something happened. And we're going to fix it. It's
and
nice.
He did.
And he did.
So,
right?
Can't ask for more than that.
You really can't. I mean, I guess you could, but you shouldn't expect more than that. I'm sure lots of people ask for lots of things. Alright, well, that Payne's Gray work. So then, keeping the thin paint so I can get down on the inside. Going underneath all those little ridges. And then bringing it down to finish it out. Easy peasy. You can even do that going up if you want. You go that way, boom, 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 boom. Whichever way is more comfortable. As long as you're getting good coverage, that's what you really want. And then make sure you tighten your brush strokes up at the end. That's the... See, like that, they're all weird and blobby. So you want to tighten up your brush strokes. That way it will, when it settles down on there, it doesn't leave anything globbing. And that's another reason why you don't, make sure you get your paints at the appropriate thickness for what you're trying to do. Sometimes you need it a little thicker than others. And sometimes you need it thinner. With this being an undercoat, we're definitely wanting it to be thinner. Oh, yes. So yeah, hopefully we get some more votes in. That was fun. I really enjoyed the votes. Kharn is definitely the runaway winner right now. Still time to vote. It could change ways. Zinch could get involved. The changer of ways himself. Poor Kristen has had to learn Warhammer through osmosis as the house has been slowly corrupted.
Yeah, everybody's talking about it, so.
Yeah, the boys love it.
Especially the middle one.
Yeah, he is bowdy. He loves it.
And he loves to tell me stories, so I hear.
Yeah, he likes telling stories. There's lots of stories to tell in Warhammer. Especially once he gets his own army rolling and we can do it.
He starts them all with, how in... And I'm like, no.
Well, with him, that's no telling what he's getting ready to launch into. It might be Warhammer. It might be something else.
Yeah, everything starts with, how...
Yeah, he's in that stage where you're working on what you know, but you can tell eventually he's going to start making things up on his own.
Definitely. He already makes up some great stories.
Yeah, just pulling from what he's got.
Right.
Yeah, one of these days it's going to be fun. Can't wait to hear about... He has taken over his D&D game, so I can't wait to hear about how that went tonight, or today.
Yeah.
He's got some big decisions on what to do with his party. Just coming back through, knocking out all these little Payne's Grey pieces, taking a look at everything I got going on, making sure that I'm happy with all the little spots. Lots of little places where we definitely need another coat of paint. I'm seeing you get a chance where you can see, like right there, I totally missed. And we want this dark, but we don't want it that dark. So we're just going to add a little quick coat of paint. The fridge is ridiculously loud. My mom was like, I don't even notice it. And I'm like, oh, well, that's good.
Now that you've moved it, it really hasn't been noticeable on the audio.
Well, that's awesome. That's what I like to hear. Having it moved is a big deal to me. It's so much easier to get in and out of, too.
It is. Yeah, I've already used it more.
Looks like we got a little bit of bone we missed right here. All these little guys too in here. Since we're gonna cut, we can come back and do that purple again right there. But at least give it that illusion of color, that little bit of yeah, looks great. Just that little bit of color poking out. Because it's definitely segmented there.
I need colors I don't have, and I have to go get them.
That happens to me occasionally. Check all our magenta, make sure we got all that done.
Okay. Now I have all the colors, so it's...
Yeah, you have so many more colors than I do.
Well, markers don't mix quite like paint does.
That is true. Okay, I got that done, and I think I want to throw a little bit of this burnt sienna on these and on the edges of that. Very similar to what we did with our these guys, the termagants, since they're supposed to be of the same lineage. Since I've got that little thing right there on these guys' arms, should definitely do the same here on these. It'll help fade into that. It'll help fade into that magenta too. Yeah, I like that. Alright. And a few more touch-ups and we should be done. The rest of this section under control since we missed it. Okay. And we gotta do his eyes and his teeth. Maybe go down one more. And jump down to our (5/0). Titanium white. I'm just barely going to touch his eyes. If we get a little bit of a mess up, it'll be alright. We can go come back, fix it in a minute. Alright. If you feel like you've made a little error, like I feel like maybe I touched it. Yeah, right there. It looks like it has a double dot. Take that Payne's gray. And just kind of paint that away. And it goes away pretty easy. Now, luckily, Tyranids don't have any pupils or anything, so we don't have to worry about that. Because that makes it a whole lot harder. I'd need like a magnifying glass to do pupils and stuff. Teeth are scary enough.
It's all a bit small for me.
Yeah, they're T90. He's so small, the camera has trouble picking up his little detail. But he's got some pretty great little eyes on him now and some teethuses. We like teethuses. Okay, let's see. Oop. Smacking that camera around. Do this top crest, and then I think we're ready to start doing our dry brushing. We really need to get some brush soap. I keep saying this.
Brush soap?
And I don't do anything. Yeah, brush soap. You can get it at like Michael's or probably order it on Amazon. I think I saw it on Amazon.
Right? Special soap for brushes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure there's some sort of homemade version, but there's a fairly decent little brand out there that does it. Alright. Okay. Time to move on. Move on to some dry brushing. Not El Funko. Maybe we do need El Funko. Nah, not for these top pieces. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of I'm going to work a little bit of Payne's Gray. A little bit of our white. And run that off. Most of that, a little bit of that off with the towel. And then we're just going to brush over the top of it. And I'm just gently flicking down the tops, letting the paint get on there. And if you don't have an airbrush, this is definitely, get yourself some dry brushes. It definitely is helpful. And it's a specific kind of brush. This one's by Army Painter. And it's a pretty good one. I've enjoyed using it. You know, gotta maintain them like any brush, but they're definitely very useful, as you can see. When you're dry brushing, always go with the direction of the model it wants you to go. There will be a direction. It'll flow a certain way. Like this one's obviously flowing away from the tip of the claw down. It's fairly obvious. That'll make your life a whole lot easier. Little dry brush action. And I suppose you could edge highlight the heck out of it, but woof. That's a lot of work, y'all. Oh yeah, good looking dry brush. Even these little guys can get a little bit of that action. Definitely get it on that. Kind of dry brush it up good, real good. All that. It seems odd at first, but then once you start really setting back and looking at how it looks, you're like, oh, I see. I see why you'd want to do that. It helps smooth the color down, and you can do a lot of different things. Breaks out some of that detail in the model that you couldn't quite get just with a regular brush of it, you know. I mean, you could, again, it said you could edge highlight, but golly, it takes forever. spend your whole life edge highlighting 5 models. It's not that bad. I'm just being funny. All right. The only one we forgot was this one at the very bottom on his tail. We're probably going to have to take him off to do it. Oh, wait, no, that's a purple piece, isn't it? Yep. Oh, there's dew claws. I knew we were going to miss something. Okay, so can't get in there with that brush, so that's why we're going to get Old Nasty out. He can get in there where other brushes can't. Just got to be careful about when you load up its bristles where the paint's sitting. And just be cognizant of what you're doing. Sometimes these old flayed brushes are the best. Yeah, starting to look pretty good. Starting to look pretty good. Okay, so take a little break. Oh, we're at 43 minutes in. Still working on myconids?
I am.
If you don't know what a myconid is, that is a D&D creature. It is a mushroom man. They're fun. They have all sorts of different things that you could do with them as a dungeon master. Interesting idea. Mushrooms that are sentient and slightly humanoid.
They look wicked.
Tribal, but maybe not necessarily wicked. Yeah. Okay. I'm not that funny. Alright, so for this, we are actually going to pull out a little bit of our Mars Black. We're going to knock out this beam. Looks like there's a little bit of dirt underneath that beam too, where it's busted out of wherever it's busted out. And we have a little bit of that tyrannid growth going on in here too, so I'm going to kind of paint around it a little bit. That's crazy. It looks like it's eating through this steel girder. Alright, let's see. We'll do our... that's a little black with our burnt umber, but a little burnt umber in there for that ground where it's kind of poking out. They calling me. I should just start freaking people out, like all these telemarketers, calling them and telling them they're live on there. Like, hi, you're live. Go ahead and say what you have to say. What?
Different kind of call-in show.
Golly, that would be funny. This call can be monitored for quality assurance. This is great. This is amazing. Here we go. You just do a show of people calling. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, you know what actually might be a fun show to do Hello, buttons. Yeah, we can't see the screen because you're in the way. Show everybody your butthole. Good, thank you. I'm glad you didn't do it. Don't step in the paints. Where are you going?
Hi. How are you, sir?
That cat's something else, man.
Did you wake up from your nappy nap? Did you wake up from your nappy nap?
Alright, anyway, back to work. Alright. What a goober.
No. Don't fuck with the plants.
He's trying to eat the plant again?
He was just batting it.
Okay. War, I'm telling you, cat has he's at war with all my plants.
He just thinks they're toys. They're not toys.
Alright.
Whoa!
Got that on, then we'll slap on this Dioxazine purple. Those places where we have that growth. Make sure it gets in those holes. Alright. Now we gotta do our four, five, here's three, okay. Alright, so now we're gonna move up to this Windsor purple. It's a lot thicker. And just one shade past our Dioxazine, however you're supposed to say that. And this one, I'm really just trying to catch my tops. I like these layers of purple because it really gives you it builds up your purple to make it richer. I mean, you could do this another way, I'm sure, but I don't know that you'd have quite the depth of quite the richness of color. Oh yes. Alright, I'm going to get this little section in here. Mm-hmm. So again, not terribly worried about getting too deep. When I did that diazine, we kind of tried to get all the way down onto the every crevice of the scale. And then come back with this Windsor, we're not worried about that. We're just trying to kind of come across the tops, get all nice and wet for Valentine's Day. That was terrible. Okay. I'm gonna let that dry up for just a few moments. Guess we can do the growth. I'm gonna give it the same treatment. All right. Now we need to really thin out some Payne's gray. We're going to do the carapace in this wash. Again, this may seem like a superfluous step, but it really isn't. You won't have the same.
With the wind?
Yes, the wind is crazy. I said you can't really hear it on the broadcast because the mic won't pick it up. But man, the wind.
Something just thudded really loud out there.
Yes, the wind gets crazy. We live in a part of America called Oklahoma. And Oklahoma is renowned for its wind. It's in our state song. Like within the first, couple of lines, it's in our state song. So it's pretty windy here on a regular basis. And man, I tell you what, here in Choctaw, it gets super windy. Might even like just a little kiss on these guys if they look like they've sunken too far into the color of the magenta. Same thing with these little holes. You can always kind of give them a little bit of this Payne's gray wash right down that little streak to kind of darken it up a little bit. Where we kind of want to extend that shadow, it's a good place to go ahead and add that stuff to it. Like instead of using, you could use like a black wash, I suppose, to do stuff like this. But then again, like the black wash is going to take away a lot of the other tones, and it's just going to black it out. So it's kind of superfluous and pointless. But this Payne's gray is a blue in the end. It's a blue gray that dries pretty dark. And so it's going to let us kind of organically settle some of these holes. And it works great against that magenta too. So we're going to reveal a lot of the details in there without having to do too much work. Almost there. Then we'll throw some flock on this guy, and we're going to color it in. I don't want to black the edge. We always black the edge.
So creepy looking.
Yeah, they look great.
Oh man, you really made his rib cage look like a bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, he's pretty ridiculous.
Heck yeah. No one's talking to you.
He looks sick on camera.
Yeah. It was really nice.
The obligatory gar moment. Alright, so adding a little tiny bit of this rough iron on our little girder piece. And my finger, apparently. I love this rough iron. It's kind of a... It's got that brown, almost rustiness to it. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to do a little bit of a base coat. Or not a base coat, but a highlight of our... I think it's lead belcher. And then we're going to throw a little bit of some of this burnt sienna on as a wash to work as our rust.
Oh yeah? What is it? Yeah. Oh! Hi!
Demanding, aren't we, sir? Don't you tear up my plants anymore, cat.
Well, he just wants to be held, I guess.
Maybe you had a bad dream.
You know, there's your girlfriend. Fine.
Alright. Good night. Okay. No, Iron Warriors, folks, not Lead Belcher. Iron Warriors. This is where we kind of are edge highlighting. Just kind of add this to the edges. Right here, we just kind of a little splotchy. Yeah. Now it's looking a little bit, now you see how it's going to look like a steel girder in there. And we got that little bit of the darker metal color with the stuff that's raised and kind of been rubbed or whatever. Alright, so next we're going to add in the two top parts of the purple, and then we'll flock this guy, and we're going to get the flock out of here. Okay, so let's get ugly. Oh, ugly. We're going to grab this pale violet. We're almost dry there. Start on this. quite enough off there. Now we're going to come back. This is going to seem pretty striking at first. It always does. But we're going to come back and we're going to give this a little bit of an over pass with another pass with the Windsor Violet. That one's still not quite dry. Almost. So we'll do this. And this is why don't throw away your trashed synthetic brushes. The synthetic ones are great for this. I got these for my kids and they trashed them. So, which is fine. I recommandeered them and I turned them into little dry brushes. That fridge is having a time today, man. It's like the third time it's come on. Usually didn't come on that much.
I don't know.
Now, if you can't get in there with that kind of brush, you can do this with your regular brushes. You just need to be super careful. You don't want to rub your brushes too much, like as a dry brush, because they'll get thrashed. But you can kind of just put, as long as you keep your strokes pretty light, you can kind of come across the top of everything and then come back later and fix it. Well, we're gonna put that overcoat on it. So I really don't like necessarily doing dry brushing techniques with my good brushes. So you just kind of, like I said, you just kind of lightly just be very careful with your brush, gentle with it. And remember, what we're truly trying to do is bring out these details. So, if it's, as long as we're able to do that, we've done a good job. And like a lot of people love to just leave like little streaks on these models anyway. Tyranid models in particular. Because it can be kind of a pain to get in there and dry brush a lot of this stuff. Or even with your airbrush, boy, howdy, that ain't easy to get in there. Not make it look good. Okay, almost done here. Again, we're really just trying to separate out the details. So as long as you're happy with what it looks like, then you've done enough. That's where that line is. But again, these dry brush particular bristles work the best. They're designed to kind of be mistreated a little. So any place you can use these guys, you want to. But again, you don't want to get in a position where you're covering up the other paint that you put on there too much, or that you can't get it to. You can't get the you get too much paint on it, or you're not getting enough. So you got to be careful with that. Figure out what you want, how you want it to look. I'm just trying to catch these ridges. Nothing too fancy. Real light touches. Make sure we got his crest. Alright. So now he's all frosty looking. We're going to make a real wet version of this. Windsor's purple. Windsor violet. And we're just going to go right over the top of all of it and let it settle in. I really like the way it turns out after it settles, this last piece. And I tried a couple different ways to get it to do this, and this was the one that worked the best. It's almost like contrast paints, I suppose. A whole lot more work. Those contrast paints are pretty slick. All right. Definitely looking good. I think we're done with all that. Oh, I forgot to do the little piece of the gribbly down here. There we go. And I just dropped him right in the teal. Holy mackerel.
Wow.
Come off there. Oh, you can get to that pretty quick. And that, folks, is why you want to try to let your stuff dry in between. Oh, yeah, tell me about it. That sucked. I think I caught it. Well, I'll scare the bejesus out of you. Okay, well, not too bad. I don't think it did too much damage to us. Maybe took a little bit of this off of some of these spots. Might be a little too wet to fuck with right now, but it's okay. Oof, that was scary. Oh. Golly. Make your whole booty hole pucker up right there. Okay, I think it's okay.
It's gonna die.
Hell, you know, I think I hit the camera. That stuff gets crazy. Okay, well, I saved him, though. And like I said, let your try to let layers dry, because then you can, when you do accidentally drop the whole dang thing in the paint, you can pull it out and you're usually okay. Gonna have to check him for some touch-ups later. Good golly, that's scary. Okay. Where'd that base go? Oh, shoot. Oh, well, it's been an hour. I gotta stand up anyway. Oh, it was actually in my lap.
Hey!
Yep, found it.
Break.
Right. Good golly, that was terrifying. Yeah, it looks like we lost a little bit of our work on this carapace, maybe. We'll have to wait till it dries to know for sure. Alright, anyway, well, we got them all. Let's go ahead and get this done. That was totally not fun. Twisted Art Lady says, hi from Texas. Hello. What part of Texas are you in? We're just north of you in Oklahoma. Did you get here in time to witness us dropping this whole miniature in the paint? Because that was amusing. It was hysterical. Okay. So now we dropped that lighter color over here. We're going to go ahead and go with this wash that we've made out of our Windsor purple. And it'll help bring out all those little details. Try not to get that on your metal beam. Central Texas. Yeah. I have some family in Tyler and Athens, Texas, which is over by Dallas. She said I did see that. Yikes, man. That's all right. I think we covered okay. It's not bad. Looks like maybe a little bit right down here. Oh, goodness. Come on. Definitely got to rework this little spot. It's definitely angry now. Gah! There we go. Okay, that's saved. Alright, now, that done. Put this, go ahead and put this flock on next. So one of the things I like to do before I flock my bases is put a color down. Oh wow, we just got a whole bang of people. Hello everybody. How are you all today? It is a lovely Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day for all those who celebrate it. So, like, even though I'm gonna put, flock over this thing, I want to have the underneath of it colored like dirt. I can't even say I even see it underneath there most of the time. But I definitely don't want it to be teal underneath it, because that's not going to look good at all. So we're going to come back through with, this is a burnt umber, kind of a mud color. And I don't use like the typical model paints. All my stuff is like Windsor and Newton, and because like I said, I do other things besides miniatures. So, you know, I started buying just high-end art paint and then just learned to thin it all down to the way I wanted it for miniatures. And that's kind of how I taught myself how to paint miniatures. I didn't start out as a miniature painter. I started out as a pastel artist, actually. I love oil pastels and soft pastels. They're my favorite. But nobody buys that stuff anymore. So people buy miniatures for Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. And the great thing about doing this is putting this mud color on is your brush strokes don't have to be clean. It's mud, for God's sakes. Let it just kind of get it to where it's going to coat it. And you can also add like, you can add stuff to your paints and like plaster if you want to change the texture of the ground. You know, like we did this one. We did a lot of building up on the back here with some multi-put to get that to work. So once that dries, we'll throw down a little bit of glue, and then we're gonna get, where's my pizza shaker? my pizza shaker of flock. This is I love that thing. It's so derpy. I think that's the word, right? Derpy. Oh my goodness. Ads. My whole life is nothing but ads. Alrighty. Where'd my little tray go? In here somewhere. Always good to have little extra palettes and stuff around. For glues or for other paints or for guest painters. Whatever. Kristen has her own colors though. She doesn't need mine. Oh yeah.
I just don't hate that.
And I this is one of my favorite glues in the world. I use this for a lot of stuff. If you haven't ever used it, I definitely recommend you give it a shot. It's great. It's pretty thick though, so sometimes you've got to water it down a little bit to get it to do what you want it to do. Oh yeah. Just shattered that guy's arm right off of there.
It sounded breaky. It sounded like it hit the floor.
Yeah, it did. That's part of that. Poor. Oh, we're just having a bad day today. We're having technical difficulties all over the place. All right. Anyway, well, so to continue on. Where are my toothbrushes? So I always buy. Oh, there's not one in here. So I buy trash synthetic brushes for stuff like this. Here we go. Old, cheap, blue-handled trash brushes. And I like to paint this stuff on, get my brush wet, and that's usually enough to get the glue to a nice spreadable consistency. And we'll take our base, which isn't quite dry yet. It's almost there. Where's my air can when I need it? There it is.
It's feeling empty.
It is. It's empty. Oh no. I've been using air cans as hyperspeed drying for those who have not seen that amusement. I'm definitely gonna have to find that arm because that UNT boy, maybe he's in the pole.
Oh, there's more than what I gave you? There's more missing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
We'll find it after the show.
Amazing.
And I suppose one could flavor, or flavor. Yeah. You could color your glue. You could just add color to it. And it'd help make that same mud color for you. And make sure you got it on there pretty good. If you need a little bit more water, don't be afraid to do that. Because it needs to be wet enough for your flock to stick to it. If it's too dry, it doesn't stick quite right. And they're just throwing everything on creation on the floor. It's a lot of fun. So I definitely recommend you get yourself some sort of pan or something to sprinkle your some sort of pan, something like that, to sprinkle your flock over into. That way you can get your leftover flock back or whatever. That's about all there is to it. Don't be afraid of it. A good amount of flock. We're going to let that set up for a little while. We need to do more flocking later, so we're going to flock that over there. Alright, so that's starting to look right. Let's get our little guy back on here. Good night. Now get on there. Okay. His little leg trying to separate from his body. These push fits are really interesting. I guess I probably didn't glue it quite right. Alright, there he goes. Maybe I didn't glue this one at all. I might have forgotten to glue this one. I was putting them together. It was late at night. It was my kids wanted to play. You know, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, we definitely still have a little bit of this teal we got to fix. So, let's go ahead and knock that out real quick. And do a little repair on the top. It looks like it got mainly this carapace. For those of you who were not here earlier, I accidentally dropped this thing into the teal on my palette. And I'm having to redo his carapace. I had to wait for it to dry a little bit first. He's crazy.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, whoopsie. It was a big whoopsie. And funny. At least funny to me, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people would not have found that amusing in the slightest. But to me, it's just kind of like, oh, well, that's why we do live shows, because they're funny.
Yeah, that kind of stuff happens to everyone. You gotta find amusement in it. Or
well, that's
pretty dreary.
Right. Well, and that's the fun of the live show is that, like, you do get to see it when it goes horribly, tragically wrong. Horribly, tragically wrong. Okay. Alright, now we got that on there. We'll let that dry for just a second. And then I'm going to hit it with this Windsor Violet wash, and it'll go to the color we want it to do. You gotta be super careful when you apply this wash, like right after you painted it, because it will. If you do it wrong, it will not. It'll not work. It won't look. It won't look streaky and cool. It'll just look blobby and weird. Which is definitely what we're trying to avoid. We do not want blobby and weird. Take care of any of our little touch-ups. Let this finish drying off. And it looks like we're ready to do our blacks. Start blacking out this base. Get down lower. I got blue. I got teal all over me from that. That is hysterical. There we go. Always make sure your paints are the right thickness. That's a big, hard one. I'll come out and I'll clean that. There's a little bit, we got a little bit of flock stuck in that crevice, but it's probably not glued. It's just static flock does that. So we'll pick that out with a tweezer here in a little bit. So funny. It's one of the reasons why I started keeping the palette way over here, but I brought it in so we could show you them how to mix paints. And I went so funny. All right. Ooh, all right. There we go. We'll put him in the spinning showcase and throw a video up for him. Probably have to get. I'm gonna get those other two finished up off camera. I'll probably do that. All right. Let's see about getting that stuff out of there. Might be able to just do it with a brush. And you can see how that's just, the static had that clung to it. There he goes. And that is our leaper. I'm going to put my fingerprints right in the dang thing, because I've had that kind of day. So anyway, let me fix that silly mistake. It's Valentine's Day. I must be love drunk. That's what it is. I'm going to blame it on that. All right. All right, so after all the crazy trials and tribulations of today, there we go. Give us a nice, yeah. Thank you, Steve, for focusing that in for us. He looks great. Very exciting. There we go. So we're gonna come back next episode. We're back tomorrow, and we'll. I think we'll know exactly what we're gonna be doing, but it looks like it's gonna be Kharn for now, but it might be one of those other guys. If you haven't voted in the poll, jump over there, vote in the poll. That way we can figure out what we're gonna do next. So, because we're gonna take a little bit of break from Tyranids, because holy moly, that's a lot. Painting armies is a lot. So we're gonna take a break from painting Tyranids, and we're gonna move on to another thing to kind of keep things rolling and keep things entertaining. So, anywho, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Pat. This is the lovely Kristen, and happy Valentine's Day. You guys have a great day, and we're gonna send you out with our lovely outro.